Good morning, students. In December 2020 UGC-NET examination, there was a question from the theory propounded by Harold Bloom, which is anxiety of influence. The question was, in anxiety of influence, which of the following definitions is given by Harold Bloom to explain the term Clinamen? So the correct answer to this question is poetic misprision. Alright, so it was not the first time that the theory was asked in UGC-NET examination. Almost 5 to 6 times UGC-NET has used the theory of anxiety of influence directly in the question and sometimes in the options to match of the following also. So in this video, we will look at what is anxiety of influence, and we will also discuss what all are the ways to overcome this anxiety of influence, and the Harold Bloom, which he suggested 6 steps to overcome this, you can say, anxiety of influence. Alright, so before beginning this video, if you're one of those students preparing for UGC-NET or any other competitive exam in English literature, do not forget to check out our smart study material from our official website limitlessliterature.com. We provide study material, video lectures and everything that is required for you to crack the exam. Check the link in the description below to know more about it. Now without any further ado, let's begin with this video. So Harold Bloom coined the term anxiety of influence, and according to him, writers learn the art of writing through reading the works of predecessors, through reading the works of earlier writers. For example, if you want to learn guitar, you have to imitate the Bollywood or Hollywood songs. And after imitating for 3-4 years, you will be able to figure out how to play your own song, how to make your own guitar. The same way we have to become a writer. For instance, I started learning writing through reading the works of Khushwant Singh and Ruskin Bond. So there was an influence of Ruskin Bond and Khushwant Singh on my writing. And in order to overcome this influence, Harold Bloom has given 6 steps. And it is not like only 1 or 2 writers have the influence of the predecessors. Everyone has the influence of predecessors. For example, T.S. Eliot. We can see the influence of Shakespeare in the works of T.S. Eliot. We can see the influence of Virginia Woolf, D.S. Lawrence in the work of Anita Desai. When you read Anita Desai, you will find out that there is an influence of these psychological writers like D.S. Lawrence, T.S. Eliot and Virginia Woolf in the writings of Anita Desai. So we have to overcome this anxiety of influence, and here we go with the 6 steps. Clinamen, Tessera, Kenosis, Daemonization, Ascusis and Apophrades. Alright, so we will understand all these terms with an example of T.S. Eliot, how he overcame Shakespeare, how there is an influence of Shakespeare. We will discuss both of the things. Alright, so let's start with the first one, Clinamen. That means that a poet must deviate a little from the influence from the predecessors. Okay, in order to establish his own originality, he must deviate from the predecessors. For example, T.S. Eliot, he deviated from Shakespeare by using fragmented narrative. T.S. Eliot took mythologies, religious texts, symbols, and he compiled all these things in the wasteland, and that's how he deviated from Shakespeare. So Clinamen means deviation. Okay, the next one is Tessera. Alright, so Tessera simply means to borrow the source from the earlier writer. Okay, we can see T.S. Eliot has taken the allusions, taken the content from the Antony and Cleopatra of Shakespeare. So he borrowed the Antony and Cleopatra, he borrowed the context of Antony and Cleopatra and used that in Wasteland. And then he recreated the borrowed terms and bring out a different piece of work. So you borrow it from the predecessor, but you put your own individuality from the tradition that you have taken to make the work of an originality. So the next one is Kenosis. Kenosis simply means that you should go an extra mile from the predecessor. Okay, for example, T.S. Eliot went a step ahead from Shakespeare and show us the broken modern world. For example, Shakespeare used to write the united world, unification of the world. Everything in Shakespeare was united, but T.S. Eliot is not same. T.S. Eliot showed the broken modern world. Alright, so that's how he deviated himself or went one step behind Shakespeare and brought out his own originality. So the next point is demonization, which simply means that we make our precursor sort of demon. Okay, so T.S. Eliot made Shakespeare as a demon, as a mythological figure. T.S. Eliot too believed him to be most powerful playwright ever born on this earth. So Shakespeare can be seen in his work Wasteland. Not complete influence, but somewhere Shakespeare is there. Somewhere the influence of Shakespeare is there in the Wasteland. Alright, so demonization means to make the predecessor almost like a mythological figure that it haunts still in the work, still in the wasteland. The next one is Ascusis, which simply refers to the lack of discipline and lack of training. and that's self-imposed limitation. Okay, so like if you do not work harder, if you do not do your research work, if you do not train yourself hard enough, then you will never be able to overcome the anxiety of influence. Okay, so T.S. Eliot did overcame the influence of Shakespeare. He used fragmentation, juxtaposition, allusions to separate himself from Shakespeare. Alright, so we should always train and practice harder in whatever art we are going to follow in our life. The next one is Apophrades, which simply means that we try to overcome the influence by doing a lot of practice, by doing a lot of training, but still we cannot escape. Despite training and efforts, we can still see the influence of our precursors in our work. T.S. Eliot, 90% T.S. Eliot has overcame the anxiety of influence and overcame Shakespeare's influence in his work, but he is still, we can see 5% or 4% or 6%, you can say, the influence of Shakespeare in his work Wasteland. So Apophrades simply means no matter how much we try, still there is a little bit of percentage will always there in the work of a new poet, in the work of new writers. So that is all 6 points all about. Hope you got an idea about what is anxiety of influence and how to overcome it, and try to remember all the points which I have mentioned in this video. Also, if you found the video worth your time, do not forget to like the video and subscribe the channel for more such updates. I will see you soon in the next video. That's it for this. Thank you.